Okay, if I want to describe Toji no Miko in a nutshell, I would say this: massive wasted potential. Here's the thing. Usually I really don't like when anime tries to be really this edgy and gritty, unnecessarily gritty kind of anime. The perfect example is like a few years ago. There's an anime called Mahou Shoujo uh, Ikuse, something like that. Magical girl raising project, something like that. It is a battle royale type of Mahou Shoujo. Basically, bunch of Mahou Shoujo kill each other brutally, and everyone has dark past, tragic. It was one of the most asinine and most half-ass attempt at cashing in this whole despair Mahou Shoujo genre and all this dark and gritty story that has been plaguing all this subversion genre that has been plaguing various genre as of recent decade, or maybe just since Madoka popularized it. I'm still blaming Madoka for basically popularizing this genre. Basically, in Mahou Shoujo, Ikuse is simply terrible at its execution. The background, the setting of every characters and the story are just so ridiculously, unnecessarily tragic and dark. And when everything become dark and dramatic and edgy, the story just lose weight, weight, just lose its focus. When you watch it, you don't. When I watch it, I don't really feel. Oh my god, this girl. Oh my god, this is so bad. Oh my god, she's experiencing something really terrible. No girl should ever experience it. Oh my god, this girl died brutally. So gory, so violent. It just that when you repeat it again and again, and when you so ham-fisted the darkness, the grittiness in a story, it just become very annoying to watch. It's not immersive. It's not compelling. It does not makes me engage in the story. It just become very, how should I say this, very gore porn, something like that. You know, when you watch Attack on Titan, just because it has good action and violent scenes, something like that, you don't really watch it for any complexity, any nuance of the story anymore. So, but in Toji no Miko, it's the reverse. This is something I wish it had been darker. Okay, here's the plot. I'm gonna summarize it. I really don't want to make this video long because honestly, I don't really have energy to talk like in this video. Okay, basically by the end of episode one. Okay, here's the thing. It's an anime about a bunch of schoolgirl that is also it's a combat school anime. It's a very typical setting. You know, you have combat school, and then these students, for some reason, they are all girls, also fight monsters. And the basic premise is that they have this sacred sword blade, or I should say blade, because they have different kind of swords and blades that they use to envelop themselves in aura, and then fight this. So they are able to fight these monster to protect humanity, something like that. So basically, they have a pretty dark background already. As in, these schoolgirls are responsible for the safety of the people, and they train these whole underage girls to fight monsters. Probably many of them gonna die, and they also imply that as you get older, you slowly lose this power. So there's no veterans soldier here. Okay, so the anime starts pretty unconventionally. It starts with a battle tournament, and our heroine gets to final and fight this serious a long black haired girl with princess cut. Serious black haired girl, typical. And your heroine is the typical kind and kind and energetic and bubbly kind of protagonist girl. That's also a little naive, something like that. But the annoying thing is that she is also apparently a badass that also very good at fighting others. So here's the thing. So okay, during the final, here's the kicker. The final was also attended by this character. She is a prominent figure in the military. I think she is like a commander in chief, something like that. She is also a war hero, and she is very prominent leader that has a significant political power. And what's important is that by at the end of the episode 1, the black haired girl, the one that the heroine, the protagonist is going to fight, lunge, jump at this person and tries to kill her. So what am I saying is that the episode 1 ended with an attempted assassination. Assassination in a series where you look at the art style. Art style is where it looks very typical anime. There's nothing implying that it's gonna be has a serious story beside your typical combat school fantasy genre anime. And there's another kicker. The assassination failed. She failed to kill her because she is also a powerful fighter, and she has all this aura and bodyguard as well. So she tries to escape, and it's a little hard because she used up her power, her energy, and the protagonist help her run away from an attempted assassination. That's kind of fucked up, right? You would think that it's kind of an intriguing story, right? Our character, our the protagonist is kind of like a criminal, a fugitive. But here's the thing. In episode 2, episode 3, and episode 4, I watched a bit of episode 4. I didn't finish it because I decided to drop it. Spoiler alert, I dropped this anime. This 3 of this episode does not take this premise, this main setting seriously. I mean, it could have been a great dark and cynical story. You have this character that is also some kind of criminal, fugitive, and have them going through some kind of adventure as a fugitive, running away from their old friends, from the law, from the military. I mean, like in in episode 2 and episode 3, I just cannot see. I mean, they did not show the gravity of the situation. I mean, there are these two characters who are students, attempted assassination at a major political figure, and not to mention these two characters are someone who battled through a battle tournament, and got into a final. So they are at least is a major threat. Imagine having some kind of your someone who went through army training and graduated at very high level, got some award and stuff, and then the two of them suddenly went rogue and tries to assassinate the president or something like that. It will be a national uproar, a national tragedy, something like that, because there is a betrayal, a traitorous, your someone that's supposed to protect the country betrayed the country, tries to kill a beloved military war hero, something like that. Okay, but the anime does not recognize, does not acknowledge uh, this serious premise. In episode 2 and episode 3, we are treated in like this is something like a goofy adventure. There's nothing serious, and everyone, even these two characters are acquaintances. They are former teachers. Feels like they have faced that there's the reason why there's a good reason why the our protagonist did this. Why our protagonist helped an assassin. Like, I'm not sure how to say this, but it could have been a dark story, a dark and intriguing story, gritty, lots of. This is a good setting. I think this is a good setting for a despair genre. Where characters have to fight each other. Friends have to fight. The protagonist has to fight her friend, something like that. But in episode 2, episode 3, we are treated. This is some kind of like a slice of life adventure. There's no gravity of the situation, and the bigger problem I have is that this slice of life adventure, goofy adventure scenes are bad. They are not fun, especially because the black hat character, the serious character, are not a fun character. It feels very fillery. The dialogues are there's no strength, and there's no strength in the dialogues. The battle scenes are at most is kind of so it's a little cool at first because there's an emphasis on stance and swing technique, something like that, and their weapons. But the 3D CG they use is kind of a little lame. Okay, but I'm gonna just spoil, and I have this word document I when I rented in my Discord channel. Basically, okay. In episode 2, there is a dilemma. They are on the run. They don't really want to reveal themselves, and then suddenly a monster appear. So typically, our protagonist decided just to show herself anyways because she is such a good girl. She is a girl who believe in justice, so she have to defeat the monster, right? Yeah, I don't really like that. I mean, they could have put a more drama in these scenes to acknowledge the dilemma they have, whether to protect people or to protect themselves, something like that. But it plays off as a like to show that the protagonist is such a good girl. It's kind of lame. The execution is bad. I don't feel like I like the heroine more anymore. And the heroine is pretty dull. She is she feels like a empty empty palette. She does not. She's very typical uh, kind girl, but is also strong and believe in justice, something like that. And then she has to fight. I mean, like I'm a little disappointed. This could have been. Imagine. I said this in my Discord channel before that this could have been like Tales of Berseria. It has similar setting. The main characters are practically runaways and fugitive. They are trying to kill the human leader, the leader of the world, Artorias. But they have their own reason. And in episode 3, it is revealed why the black haired girl wants to kill the war hero. It is because the war hero is actually not a human anymore. She is taken by the monster, and she is disguised by the monster and attempted something far else more sinister, which is similar also to Tales of Berseria. Artorias, even though Artorias united united humanity and safeguarded the world, but he also has a he also scheming behind the scene in order to I forgot the plot. Basically, he wants to subdue the world, something like that, without everyone else knowing. And Tales of Berseria pull it off, but in Toji no Miko, the 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 unseriousness of the scenes, the goofy adventure scenes, and the weak dialogues, weak characters, and subpar fighting scenes, subpar model. The art is so. The the dialogues and the scenes are not powerful. In the end, it just feels like very such a missing potential. And in episode 3, I already see some deterioration of the art quality, and there's also a bunch of trophy characters starting to appear, and bunch of badly scenes that badly directed that could have been stronger. I don't know. It's falls flat in execution. I think if this anime goes for a much darker and grittier style of story, it could have been much better. But maybe I'm just maybe I expected too much. So anyways, I dropped this at episode 3.5. I don't think you should watch it. There's no reason for anyone to watch it, and I don't think it's gonna be good anytime soon. Anyways, I rambled long enough. Even though this is first impression episodes that I think should have been 10 minutes less than 10 minutes. Anyways, good night.